going on, Jerome's? This game is way more frustrating than just straight up getting your ass kicked. Like, I almost would have preferred if the Vikings no-called, no-showed, and the Buccaneers dropped a 40 burger on the Vikings, sort of like the Cowboys game last year, as opposed to a game where every single thing had to go wrong for the Vikings for the Bucs to win, and the Vikings were just a tease. It's a massive tease, and just inconsistency, turnovers, mental mistakes, unforced errors, and just letting the Buccaneers hang around, and they won at the end. That's really, really frustrating. It's a game that the Vikings should not have given away, could not have given away, and also it gives ammunition to all the haters and the losers who called the Vikings flukes last year. But whatever. Again, one game out of 17 does not a season make, and hopefully the Vikings get their ish together, and this is a learning moment, and they get pissed off because maybe life was too good last year with all of the single-score wins, and now they get kicked in the teeth, and it's their own doing. Like, respect to the Bucs and Todd Bowles and Baker and company for getting it done, but the Vikings beat themselves, man, and that's the bottom line. But we got winners and losers, and look, when we're bummed out, we always start with the losers. So number one, CBS broadcasting team. I mean, what honestly, what the issue was that? So I understand Tiki is going to be, a little bit more loving of the Bucs because of his brother Rondé, Hall of Famer for Tampa Bay. But whoever the announcer is, Catalonia, whatever, and Matt Ryan, completely in the bag for the Bucs. It sounded like you were listening to the Buccaneers radio network preseason game coverage. It's ridiculous, man. Also, Kirko red zone interception for the half, inexcusable. Like, threw it behind KJ. You were down there. You had all the momentum in the world. You're going to at least come away with 3, and you turn it into 0. And the Bucs got the ball at the start second half. Just completely ridiculous. Turnovers, 3-0. So, number one, Ed Ingram. I've never seen a guard step on a quarterback's foot before Ed Ingram. I've never seen a guard cause a fumble on the quarterback-center exchange before Ed Ingram, but here we are. And then also just, this is like all-encompassing, but running back pass protection was ridiculous. And C.J. Ham picked up the wrong guy on the Antoine Winfield strip sack, and it really did put the Vikings behind the 8 ball. Because, first off, again, it speaks to... So you had 3 first-half turnovers, and it's a tie ball game. That should not be. But it kept the Bucs in the game, and the Bucs got confidence in the second half, and then they took advantage. The Vikings offense couldn't string together a drive. The defense was getting winded out there as the Bucs put together like a 9-minute drive to start the second half. It's ridiculous. Also, head coach Kevin O'Connell is a loser today because this team was not ready to play. It just wasn't. And I understand, like, I like O'Connell's leadership. It's more for the modern day athlete, and this team just simply was not ready to play. Mentally, they weren't focused. So many mental mistakes, so much sloppy play, so much mental errors in all phases, and ultimately, it's on Kevin O'Connell right now. This is a challenge for him because the Vikings didn't really have this last year. Like, when they lost, they got their asses kicked. They didn't lose close games like this. So how is he going to address this on a short week? That's going to be a challenge to him. Patrick Jones, the third down penalty. So Jay Ward offsides on the field goal as well. 4-point turnaround. Metellus gave up the Evans touchdown, caught flat-footed. So this really is sort of nitpicking, Ezra whiffing on the Hawk screen, just leaving him out to dry with Levante David, and then O'Neal and Darisaw penalties. It's just all these things, all these minor things add up to something big. And there wasn't one specific play that you can point to that where the Vikings lost it, but when you add up all of them, that's why they didn't get it done today. A couple winners. So Justin Jefferson, hold on. Justin Jefferson in the first half. So 9 catches for $150 on 12 targets, but I'm pretty sure he had 1 catch in the second half. And props to the Bucs for making adjustments, and poo-poo on the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips for not adjusting. I mean, you didn't get the ball to your best player in crunch time when you needed plays. Also, big props to Brian Flores. So this will get lost in the wash, where the Vikings defense was aggressive. They played extremely well, and they just got wore down in the second half. But the Bucs were 6 of 17 on third down, including starting out 1 of 5. Only 242 total yards of offense. If your defense holds the other team below 250 in terms of yards, you should win. you should win. 4.8 yards per attempt for Baker, which is booty. Also got pressure and creativity, but also at the end, you could call it fatigue or whatever, but when the Bucs needed third and fourth down conversions, they got them, and the Vikings didn't stop them. Also, winner was the Vikings throwback uniforms. They need to be full-time home uniforms. They are looking pretty damn good. Let's see here. There we go. That looks tight. That looks tight, man. Wide receiver Jordan Addison. So catching his NFL debut touchdown, had 4 catches for 61. I would like to see him a little bit more involved. But overall, Addison, like you saw the glimpses and flashes of what he can be. So that's a good sign. Cornerback Caleb Evans. He was the best Evans on the field today. He really was. And his size and length on the outside he was matched up against Mike Evans throughout most of the day, and I think that he held his own. I think he played extremely well. The Evans touchdown was where he got singled up against Metellus. Metellus was playing split safety on that play, so Evans did really well. Cameron Bynum, again, I know Cam Beasley gets a lot of flack from Vikings fans, but he did play extremely well today as well. 10 tackles, 5 solo, a couple of really good open field tackles. I think he did the damn thing. Danielle Hunter, so got the only sack of the game for the Vikings. Where they were getting consistent pressure on Baker, but only sacked him once. Danielle got there. Also, he did a good job setting the edge. I'm very much against putting Danielle Hunter in coverage, but the one coverage play that he did have, he did really damn good at. And also, when Baker scrambled for that first down, apparently it's not illegal to hold Danielle Hunter in 2023. Weird. Ivan Pace Jr., so even though he didn't start on paper, he certainly got in a number of snaps, and what's really impressive is in the second half, in crunch time, he was in, but 8 tackles, 6 solo, also had a couple of blitzes, couple of pressures, also had contained in some big-time plays, sniffed out a screen pass, and I think overall he's really impressive. I think it's one of the stories that's going to fly under the radar because of the loss. Hockenson was a nice safety valve, 8 catches for 35 on 9 targets. Now, like 4 of his catches, like the tight end screen passes went absolutely nowhere. They like Kevin O'Connell, Harrison, and Wes Phillips have to rethink all of those. But Hockenson is a tough dude, and he earned his money today. Harrison Smith. So even though Harrison isn't going to light up the box score today, but he got back to being that presence on the edge, blitzing, and having really good run fits, and just overall just being a nuisance to opposing offenses. So I'm glad to see that he's back to that role. Madison, a really tough yardage after contact, dragged his way into the end zone. He had 14 touches for 44 yards total, which is very inefficient. But, the offensive line, they got to be able to run the ball more consistently, and today just was not it. Josh Oliver, so like we said, Josh Oliver, when he was a third-round pick coming out of San Jose State, he was a receiving tight end, and he turns himself into one of the best blocking tight ends in the game. He's basically a de facto starter. Vikings played a ton of 12 personnel. Also, he had 3 catches for 32 yards, a really nice pickup there. Harrison Phillips, so Harrison Phillips quietly always plays well, like even when the defense was bad last year, but he had 8 tackles, had a pass broken up at the line of scrimmage. So overall, Horrible Harry is doing some good things. Mekhi Blackman had a beautiful pass broken up of Mike Evans on 3rd down, and it's a spot where the Vikings were showing press man across the board and cover 0. They dropped into zone, and Blackman out on an island, he made a play. If he doesn't, most of the time, corners are going to get called for a penalty there, or if he doesn't make that play, Evans walks into the end zone. So really good play by him. Jalen Naylor, big special teams tackle on punt coverage. Najee Thompson, had a bit of a whiff on one of his, but Naylor, speedy, brought it home there. But I don't know, it feels kind of hollow. Like it's a long season, and one game does not tank a season. But I don't know, there's some really good individual performances. There was some really good spots, but like I said, overall consistency just was not in the cards for the Vikings today, and it cost them. Again, the Vikings beat themselves in this game by letting the Bucs hang around, and all the errors, both mental and just rudimentary football. Like you can't be -3 in turnovers and expect to win. And the Vikings didn't, and they had all the advantages in the world. They had all the opportunities to really get it done and slam the door, but they didn't. So, Rough day, and also really sucks because it's a short week, and then you got Philly Thursday night, but it's okay. Keep your head up high, and we're going to go get it done. Hey, we're on to Philadelphia. But your thoughts are thoughts. Let us know your winners and losers. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.